So one of my friends, Adam, tweeted something a little over a month ago now, and I really can't get the tweet out of my head. And so I want to talk about it today. And Adam's tweet has to do with using AI to develop software. And I wanted to read it quickly now. So he said that programming was deeply satisfying work to me. Work for hours or days before getting the payoff of the code working well on your machine. I'm feeling so much friction now to open the editor and do this kind of task by hand, but also increasingly depressed with the nature of work in an AI-assisted dev workflow. Back and forth prompting seems to eat at my soul. Need to find a balance that brings back some of the toil. And I absolutely feel what Adam is saying is here in this tweet, and tons of people resonated with this content in this tweet, in this wording of Adam complaining basically about AI assisted workflows, because it's not the same toiling, it's not the same itch that you can scratch in your brain when you would do software engineering 5 or 10 years ago. And tons of people feel the exact same way. And I'm also one of those people. I miss actually writing code by hand. I miss the feeling, as weird and masochistic as it sounds, that I cannot do something immediately that works. Like, I miss the days where code didn't compile. I miss the days where I have to read an error and struggle through it. And as weird as that sounds, that was why programming became fun to me. It was because something that wasn't easy was something that I could eventually figure out, but I could only figure it out by working hard and by thinking deeply about a problem that I was trying to solve. And the magic of that largely is gone today. You could basically be any person, have no technical background, and create somewhat of a working website. It might not be the best website. It might not be efficient. It might not be fast. It might not be able to serve millions of people, but the average person can create a startup basically, or any kind of random website by just having a $20 subscription every single month to something like Claude or Codex or whatever have you. So while I feel that, I also started thinking deeply about, why do I feel this way? Is it something deeper than just anybody can make a website? And so I think the first thing is that I don't feel as special anymore. And what's weird is that I think I had a chip on my shoulder because I was an engineer and I could do things that other people couldn't. And deep down, I think that has to do with my own ego. Like, I felt good because I was a software engineer. I thought it was impressive or cool that I was an engineer because not everybody could do the things that I could do. But nowadays, almost anybody can. And so what I actually think is freeing, if you look deeper into that fear, is that now your identity isn't as tied to being a software engineer. And I actually think that's a good thing that people should lean into. And this is really helpful for me to think about this, because now that I don't feel as tied to the identity of being a software engineer, I don't necessarily have to think, how do I arrive at my goals or the things that I want to get out of life through being a software engineer or writing code. Previous to AI development, I really thought to myself, how could I get to where I wanted to be? But I always thought about it through the lens of, how can I do it with software or with writing code? Because to me, I went to school to become a software engineer. I studied computer science. I spent all this time that was, I guess, a sunk cost in some ways to learn these skills, to have this future, to secure this job, to be able to afford a certain lifestyle. And now that's sort of just swept out from under us. All these different people can do the same thing as us, but that should be a good thing to you, hopefully, because if you want, you can figure out a faster path to get to where you want to be. So you don't actually need to stay on the traditional path. I think what this should show you is that if you can learn to wield and leverage certain tools, what really matters is how quickly you can get to the destination that you're trying to arrive at. And for me, once I realized that I can sort of loosen my identity as a software engineer, it opened me up to thinking about other things that I could do to get to what I ultimately wanted out of life. And that was really freeing. So on one side, it was really scary. It felt really weird to lose part of this identity, but the more that I looked into it, the more I realized that it actually gave me an opportunity to replace a portion of that identity with something else. And so that should be really freeing to you. And I would just encourage you guys to look into that, because at first, when you originally think about it, it can feel scary. But I think on the other side of that fear is really a freedom that you realize that you have more freedom to do whatever you want than ever before. And you should really lean into that. So those are my thoughts. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. All right, that's about it. See ya.